Hey guys, so this is just going to be an update. I actually recorded this last night, but more things happened, and I wanted to include everything, and I don't want to make a ton of videos. It's just going to get excessive. So yeah, I'm just redoing this. So today, what I decided to do was I decided to start the Couch to 5K running program again. And I know that because that when we were in quarantine, I took up jogging in the apartment, and I finished the program, the Couch to 5K, and I was fine. But then I stopped. I just let myself get out of shape again, and I'm not going to go into the whole story behind that. Most of you already know that. And two, I realized when I tried to jog outside, it was harder. And I'm thinking maybe it's the terrain, it's not as flat, I don't know. But so yeah, now, and because since I haven't jogged in a while now, this morning I decided to go out and start the entire program over again. So it's a minor setback, but that's okay. I'm gonna get back in shape again. Hopefully this time I'll stay that way. Um, anyway, so of course, I was followed, and they had people, it's do the nose rub. Like they'll come by me and they'll wait till I look, and I'll watch them as they're approaching out of the corner of my eye, and as soon as I look, they'll do the under the nose swipe. Right? It's very exaggerated. It's just it's too much. It's too many people too often to be just a coincidence, right? But I'm trying to ignore it because I enjoy running. I enjoy it so much, and I'm not going to let them ruin this. I need that. I need to get out and just run. And two, yesterday I did go to work in the rain, and it was pouring. Well, it wasn't pouring when I left, but by the time I got, it had started, and there were some tornado warnings. So I spent a good portion of the time, not once I had the food, but when I was going to pick up orders, just running there to avoid the pouring rain. And I realized I got tired quickly. That's why it kind of triggered that desire to start running again, but it was also disappointing because I got tired so quickly. So that's why I started again today. Um, anyway, so what's been going on? As far as going to work is concerned, from the moment I walk out the door in the morning to the moment I get back in the evening, they follow me, right? They have the perpetrators on me trying to provoke to a negative response, right? They're trying to show me that they're there, they're still following, they're still watching, right? Um, so as I was waiting for the bus, this guy came by, and he walked by me. He looked at me. He looked at his phone. He looked back at me, and then he walked past me just slightly. And they started having a loud conversation. So I moved all the way over to the other end, well outside of the bus, well away from the bus stop, right? Like maybe a minute later, then he walked over to me and again started his very loud conversation. It was intentional. It was a directed conversation, and he started talking about how someone got banned from their channel because of eating a piece of fruit, right? And how horrible it was, and how okay, so what was that in reference to? Well, that morning I was thinking, you know what? Maybe I should go back on keto and I shouldn't eat fruit again. And I don't really want to be in ketosis again, but I'm thinking, that might be the easiest thing to do right now. And I was thinking, should I eat this piece of fruit? Should I not eat it? Should maybe that be all I eat? If I eat anything, should I just eat nothing but this piece of fruit? So I was thinking that, deciding what to do. I have food issues. I always have, and I probably always will. That hasn't changed. But so yeah, that's what this was in reference to. Okay, so at work. Well, at work, I say I don't actually work at an office. I was walking around. It started raining really, really bad, like pouring. It was raining buckets, and I realized, unfortunately, I learned yesterday that the courier bag that I ordered from Amazon is not waterproof. In fact, I think the food might have actually stayed drier if I had just been carrying it in my hands out in the rain. So eventually, I had to stop at the store and get some garbage bags to put in the courier bag, and then put the food in that to keep it dry, so that it wouldn't get soaked. Luckily, people were pretty nice about it, though. The tips did seem to be bigger, and there were some tornado warnings, so I'm guessing people just tip better during tornadoes. Hopefully, I would hope they do. There was only one person who gave me a small tip, $1, but most of them tipped a lot better, so that was great. Unfortunately, the app did fuck up a few times when I went to pick up an order. In this case, it happened after I picked up the order, so I actually had the food with me, and it wouldn't, like, it would do something. It wouldn't start the delivery trip. Like once you have the order, you click to start the delivery, and it wouldn't do that. And there was no information. I couldn't click to call them either. I couldn't call anybody. It wouldn't work. So I ended up, I went back into the restaurant where I picked up the food, and there were two people on the phone, and one of them looked at me and said, "What do you need?" And this was a customer, not the person there. And I said, "Look, my app isn't working, and I have to deliver this. I'm just trying to stay dry while I figure out how to fix this." And then the woman behind the counter said, "We weren't talking to you." But the thing is, they referenced me. The woman on the phone looked right at me and said that. So they're just fucking with me. Okay, they're fucking with me is what they're doing. Anyway, eventually I did get the app to work, and I was able to deliver the order, and so I carried on. Then what else happened? Right, I went to the grocery store to pick before. That's not what happened yet. Okay, so after a while, of course, and I take a portable charger with me for my phone. My phone battery was almost done. It was giving out, and I tried to hook up the portable charger, and it wouldn't work. It wouldn't, because it said that moisture was detected. So I couldn't even charge my phone, and I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go home. So before I went, and eventually I was able to get the phone to charge again. It worked after it dried out, but too late. I just decided to go home. But before I went home, I stopped at the store to pick up something for my mom, and it was just one item, and I picked up that and then one item for myself. But the thing I was getting for my mom, it wouldn't ring up. They literally, the woman was standing there, and she said, "Well, it's not ringing up. It's not registering. I don't know why." Really, they were just holding me there, because what happened was they had the perpetrators then come and swarm, and every single one that passed either did the double nose tap or the under the nose swipe, looking at their cell phones, then looking back at me. And then this one woman got behind, she didn't get behind me in line, but she walked past like she was going to get into the line. She mimicked my mannerisms that I do at home. Okay, she did the under the nose rub, and then I don't do that. But then she mimicked my mannerisms that I do at home, and then she smirked and walked off. So that's what they were holding me up for. They were just trying to create more provocation. Let's see. Okay, finally, on the bus ride home, I got on the bus, and people were spread out, because we have to spread out now, and it wasn't too crowded, but there were more people in back. So I sat up front behind a woman where it didn't seem like it would be too much trouble. I didn't want to go to the back because there were too many people too close together, and I figured it would be just a perp fest for them. They would love to have me in that position. But in reality, they position themselves to get the target where they want us anyway, right? We're going to go where they want anyway. They wanted me to sit behind this witch. So, I sat down, and she starts talking very loudly to the driver and to another man sitting just behind the driver. And then she started talking about how it's horrible that people are so angry and stressed out and miserable all the time, because it creates negative energy, and on she went. Now, keep in mind, before that, they had been making the gestures. The guy sitting up front, he did the under the nose rub, and they had made some comments referencing things that I said at home. Not things I did at home this time, but things that I said at home, right? Showing me that they could hear what I was saying in the apartment. So this is going to stress me out. This is going to work me up. So what they're doing is they're stressing out the target. They're provoking the target just to then condemn the target for their negative response. It's gaslighting is what it is. To shame you for a response that they want to get out of you. It's sick. It's perverse. And these sick fucks, they couldn't take a fraction of what they do to us. If they were put through a tiny percent of what they do to us, they would snap violently. So they're a bunch of fucking hypocrites. They couldn't take this, what we're put through. And expecting anyone to shut up and take it quietly and pretend that everything is fine when it isn't, it is sick. It's perverse, right? I guess, when it comes to the perpetrators, if they're not aware of how serious what they're doing is, if they're not aware of the magnitude of what they're involved in, right? If they're just saying what they're told to say and they actually believe the lies about the target, I guess, of course they can be happy. They're not the ones being hunted, stalked, and terrorized. And I think some just aren't aware of how horrific this is for the targets. People who have their heads shoved up their ass and their hands and their fingers in their ears and their eyes, closed shut tight. They're unaware of what's going on around them. They don't see the suffering. They don't feel it. They don't care. So of course they can be happy and content. But the people who are being tortured are not going to be happy or content, right? I guess ignorance is bliss.